and I'm all for not necessarily, like for example, the thing with me with the pronouns is something that I'm obviously getting to understand a little bit more recently. I've been actually asked to put my pronouns on social media and things like that, and I personally don't feel the need, because it's not something that I want to do as such. But I think that it's important to have that respect for people and not presume. So I'm all for whatever anyone really wants, to be honest. I'm kind of moving with the times with it all. So it's about whatever that person wants and how they want to be addressed.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think this one is for Sandy as well. No, not Sandy, sorry. Charlie, can you tell us how you got into TV and being a personal trainer?
Sure. It was 10 years ago. I got the opportunity to meet the producers of The Only Way is Essex. I had a business down in Essex. The show was doing its thing. It just launched and it was getting a lot of traction, and people were really they couldn't quite understand what it was all about. Was it real life? Was it scripted? And everyone was talking about it. And I had a business down in Essex that the producers came looking for locations to film the show in. And when they came into my little cafe, they started chatting to me and they asked if I knew anyone on the show, which I didn't, because they liked to have people have a real connection with other cast members. And that was that. And I thought, oh, well, if they want to use my business, that would be great for business. And that would be awesome for me. And then they kept my details on file. Then they got in touch with me a couple of months later and said, look, we're doing a casting and we would like to put you in front of the camera. Would you be interested in just having a chat with one of our producers? So I thought, why not? Because I was at this really funny place in my life. I was 26 or 25 and I didn't quite know where I was going and what I was doing next. So it felt like a good opportunity just to explore, just for an experience. And then, blow me down, within the 6 months, they asked me to appear on the show. And so it was just a fluky thing that happened that I didn't expect would, really.
Mm. And what about Sandy? I don't know Sandy's background. So does Sandy want to tell us about?
Yeah, okay. Very, very different from Charlie, obviously. And I'm a lot older than Charlie as well. So, I mean, I got involved in, I was actually working for the National Peace Council in London in the early 80s. And I moved back to Suffolk in 1987, and I got involved with various groups, and I joined the Labour Party because one particular person actually said to me, if you're going to get anywhere, if you're actually going to change anything in the world, you do need to join a political party. And there was only one party that I would join. So I joined the Labour Party, and I've been really active ever since. So ever since 1987, I've been active with the Labour Party. And I never really expected to put myself forward to be an MP. I was already a lot older than most people are when they first get elected. But we didn't have any other really good possible candidate in 2017, because it was a surprise election. You know, Theresa May told everyone she wasn't going to have an election, and then suddenly turned around and changed her mind. And so I said, well, if we haven't got anybody else who's really good who can do it, then I'll put myself forward, and I did. And to everyone's surprise, I was elected. So that was rather special. And for anyone who hasn't, and I'm sort of guessing that out of the 70 million people in the country, we're talking about 69 million 900 and something thousand who haven't ever been a member of Parliament. It is one of the best jobs in the world. I mean, it is absolutely fantastic. I was only there for just over 2 years, but it was the 2 most exciting years of my life, I think, probably, and will be. And now I'm not anymore, but I'm still getting on with things.
Cool. 2 very different backgrounds there. But next question is for Charlie, but I suppose we can branch out to Sandy as well. What are some pressures you feel as a TV celeb and a personal trainer, if any?
What I'm realizing is now, 10 years down the line, and I keep referring to that, it's because it's been, I think things go in cycles, and it's quite, you get to the end of one chapter and then you embark on the next, and it seems to go in cycles. But whilst I was on that trajectory of reality TV and going through the motions of just constantly getting work and enjoying the back end of that sort of lifestyle, because it's a random experience, that's all I can say. But whilst you're doing it, you don't realize a lot of the time that things are chipping away at you, and before you know it, you start becoming old news, and you start seeing a new wave of people coming through the system from the other shows, and you start falling to the back of the pile. And that's when you can sometimes fall into this headspace of, well, where do I go from here? And I think, especially in this last couple of years since COVID and the pandemic, I started really trying to figure out what my positioning was within this industry, because I was never really meant to be a reality TV star. That's what I say. I'm not typical. I don't really conform to stereotype. I'm not outrageous in any way. I'm not there for the big shock factors or anything like that. I always wanted to just show and portray an Essex guy that wasn't just interested in, they were talking about the fake tans and the whole image side of things. I wanted to show a lot more. And if anyone watched Towie back in the day, I was saying these things about not labeling yourself or not having to conform to anything. And I've always tried to stand by being that person. And it didn't really suit reality TV when they like black and white, and they like to have those token people within these shows to create the tabloid interest, the people getting the big social media followings for being outrageous and whatever. So I think subconsciously I was under a pressure, but I didn't realize at the time to try and keep conforming to what I thought I might need to be to stay in the industry. And also with fitness and personal training, I'd got myself in such a good shape because I was getting offered opportunities to work with magazines and be in front covers of these big magazines. And that does come with the pressure. At the time, I was all for it. But then once you get yourself to that point, all of a sudden, where do you go from there? Because your body's probably at the peak it's ever been. You're getting all this interest and validation from people. And then once it goes, or the next person comes through, or your body's not in that same condition anymore, you become, I don't know, I felt fraudulent at times because I wasn't that person anymore. And so